Sales calls are a scam, at least the way that most people do them. That's why I stopped doing sales calls the traditional way, and I still closed 70% of my prospects. How? It all came down to one simple fix: my sales deck. If you are struggling to close deals, I guarantee your pitch deck is the problem. And if you don't even have one, you are making sales way harder than it needs to be. I learned all of this the hard way until I cracked the code to a pitch deck that skyrocketed my close rate from 20% to 70% in just 4 months. By the end of this video, you will have the exact deck that closes high ticket deals without sounding pushy, without battling objections, and without hearing, "I need to think about it," ever again. Quick intro. My name is Gill Valerio, and since 2020, I built an 8-figure agency, and my goal is simple: help 100 marketers hit 7 figures by 2026. No fluff, just what actually works. You see, most sales gurus overcomplicate things. I'm going to show you exactly how to fix your pitch deck so prospects want to work with you before you even discuss pricing. And here's the crazy part. One slide in my deck alone has made me over $500,000. I'll show you exactly what it is later in the video. But first, let's talk about why most pitch decks suck. When I first started, I copied a generic pitch deck from a coaching program. And guess what? It flopped. Prospects were bored, their eyes glazed over, they weren't engaged at all. And then they asked the only thing they really cared about: how much does this cost? And at that moment, I realized I was doing everything completely wrong. After way too many failed sales calls, I rebuilt my pitch deck from the ground up, focusing on only 2 things. Number 1, overcoming objections before they even come up. And number 2, selling the destination, the result that they actually care about. Let's start with objections, because this alone will transform your close rate. Here's what I love about objections. They are predictable. Think about it. Every sales call, you hear the same 5 objections over and over again. I bet that you can guess them. Drop a comment below. What's the number 1 objection you hate dealing with? Let's see if you're right. The 5 most common objections are: number 1, it's too expensive. Number 2, I don't believe that you can get me results. Number 3, what's my guarantee or what's your promise? Number 4, I need to check with my partner or team. Number 5, that sounds great, but we're just not ready yet. Instead of waiting for these objections to come up, I built my sales deck to eliminate them before the prospect even brings them up. And here's the golden rule of high ticket sales. People don't buy a product or service. They buy a transformation. Your job isn't to sell what you do. It's to sell where they'll be 90 days from now because of you. I started doing this by telling real client stories backed up by numbers. John, a gym owner, was booking sales calls, but nobody showed up. He was losing thousands every month. And after we applied our strategy, his show-up rate jumped to 70%. And in 90 days, his gym was packed with new members. He even had to hire new trainers. Now, I told you earlier that one slide in my deck alone made me over $500,000. Here it is. It's called the ROI confidence slide. Most agencies wait until the end of the call to talk about ROI. Big mistake. I bring it up before they even ask about price. I ask, what's your lifetime customer value? Then I show them a simple math breakdown of how many customers that they need just to break even. And if a client needs just 3 new customers a month to make a profit, and my average client gets 12 to 13 new customers a month, that deal sells itself. Most agencies will wait for a prospect to ask, "Hey, can I speak to a reference client?" Then they scramble to find one. I flip the script. Instead, I proactively weave in a client story that relates to their struggle, and then I say, actually, you'd probably get a ton of value talking to client name. Now it's a warm connection, not a forced reference. If you already know the common objections, why waste your pitch deck talking about how amazing your product is? Your prospects don't care about your logo. They don't care about your backstory. They don't even care about how you built your product. They care about 2 things. Number 1, the result that they are going to get working with you, and number two, if this is going to make financial sense for them. When we implemented this framework, our close rate jumped from 20% to 70%. And the best part, every new salesperson we hired just followed the deck and they got the same results. If you want the exact pitch deck that skyrocketed our close rates from 20% to 70%, click the link below and I'll send you access. But fair warning, I don't know how long I'm gonna keep this video up, so grab it while you can.